this is something quite unique and revolutionary, because right here we have a 4-pack of fans, and this is basically the first time I'm seeing a brand or manufacturer releasing a 4-pack in such sense, where you can daisy chain in quite easily. You have a connection and you have a magnetic 2 indents and extrusions that just simply lock. Today we're going to talk about XPG HURRICANE MAG 120 addressable RGB PWM. MAG stands for magnetic, and the cool thing about this pack is you get 4 fans. I already stated that, but just wanted to give you an idea. You get 4 fans. You can connect them all together if you're running a, I don't know, 480 radiator, or you can do as I did, 3 on top, change them for AAO, and place one at the rear, because you get one additional cable apart from the regular cable that is for connection that interlocks with this one right here to the other one right here. And that's outstanding. But that's not all, because these fans are something different. So for instance, you need 9 fans. Let's put it this way, 9 fans. The only problem is calculation when we're talking about the fish tanks in general, because, well, basically you have 10 fans in a fish tank if we go with 3 at the bottom, 3 at the side, 3 at the top, and 1 at the rear. But let's disregard that part and just think about regular and reverse blades. I know this intro is really long, but I wanted to pump you up for this one. So what you can do is you just buy this set and you buy as much as you need. So for instance, you need 10 fans, you'll unfortunately have to buy 3 packs of these. You'll have 2 fans extra, which unfortunately it is what it is. But let me get to the point. So you have a button here on this small controller. You press it, and what happens? They stop, right? That's a bit odd. They stop from spinning. But then again, you press it once again, and they start spinning in reversed order. Let's put it this way. So what you can do with these fans is populate complete fish tank, or for instance this one, I didn't have the space to place them on the bottom and I only got this 1 pack right here, but regardless, let's move from that part. And you can just orient them to the position that you need. So reverse fans at the bottom, reverse fans on the side. You click the button and they start spinning in the opposite order, opposite direction. This is outstanding because you don't have to worry about anything literally regarding the reverse blade or regular blade or anything similar to that. Of course, the specifications when we're talking about the airflow, air pressure and everything else is lower when we're talking about reverse spin, but it makes it easier. Now, that's not all, of course. With the magnetic lock and magnetic connections, what you get with these fans is, well, 1 cable to rule them all, because 1 cable is connected here at the bottom, since I was doing it a bit opposite. 1 cable here that runs to the back, and you have 3-pin PWM, 4-pin, I think that's for a different connection type for addressable RGB, and 4-pin PWM header for fan speed. And that's it. It's quite straightforward and simple, all up to you where you're going to place them. Now, when we're talking about the visual aspect, you have a quite nice, clean design on the side with the XPG logo in the middle. Now, one is oriented like this, as you can see right here, and the other one is oriented reversed. So in that sense, this gives you an option to place reverse blades or reverse rotation on the bottom and still have the orientation of the logo properly placed. Let's put it this way. So what I did, of course, I didn't notice that. I thought the logo was on the same side on both sides, same orientation. And at the first try, the first installation of the AAO, XPG logo was rotated upside down. And of course, I had to rearrange everything. And this comes into play when you're connecting the 4th fan. Because in that sense, since you don't have the option or the ability to connect the connections on each side the same way, because only one side has a female connection, and the other side has a male connection. So in that sense, this is why I have it right here. But to be honest, this is much more convenient because you're pressing the button here and not somewhere over there at the back, hidden above the power supply, which would be definitely really hard to access if you want to rotate it. in that sense, this is really good. At first I thought it was a bad idea to have opposite XPG logo on the orientation and stuff like that, right? But when you think about it and what I explained to you right now, that's a good idea. And now we go with specifications. So the dimensions are 120, 120, 25. We have rifle bearing with 6-pole motor, addressable RGB LED, 4-pin PWM. For the addressable RGB, you have 5-volt 3-pin addressable RGB connection. Now, for the standard fan direction mode, you have 300 to 2000 RPMs. The maximum airflow is 54.82 CFM. Maximum static pressure is 2.74 millimeters H2O. And noise level is 23.36 decibels. Honestly, I think the decibel range here is a bit higher, because when you crank it up to 100, I would say it's more around 28 decibels, because at 23 you wouldn't be able to hear them whatsoever, but regardless of that. And then we go with reverse rotation, 300 to 2000 RPMs, that stays the same. Maximum airflow is 49.27, which is by almost 5.5 lower CFM. Then we go with static pressure is 3.29 millimeters H2O, that is a bit higher. And average noise level is 31.36 decibels. So they stated that these are the average decibels that you get. And I would say that 23 is the average for the standard counterclockwise rotation, or regular as we would say. But when you crank it up to 100%, when you're on the load and when these fans actually need to cool properly and not just keep it stable, they do go a bit higher. Now, when we're talking about mean time before failure, we're talking about 160,000 hours in a room temperature of 40 degrees, which is strange because usually you get these kind of numbers for mean time before failure at 25. So I would say that if we're running these fans at 25 degrees, you would most likely have a bit higher mean time before failure. But the idea behind it and what they actually did here is outstanding. You have magnetic connection, you have easy control with rotational speed. So in terms of clockwise or counterclockwise, or in our sense, reverse or regular rotation, that is brilliant. You can place them wherever you need. The only thing is, as it is a plus, that's also a minus. You get 4 fans inside the box with all the screws and everything that you need, basically cabling and stuff like that. Now, since I'm running here XPG Levante X360 on 7900 X3D, let's check out how we got with the thermals and everything all together. So AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, 87 degrees with 4825 megahertz clock speed. I know this doesn't make sense, but I did it anyways. When you change the rotation of the blades, you get 90 degrees and 4700 megahertz, which is kind of obvious because all the fans are blowing inside the chassis that is already hot, let's put it this way. It's not blowing out. So this is why we get this type of thermals. And when we go with Cinebench, you get 10 runs on average, 82.4 degrees, 4903 megahertz clock speed, and 26,288 Cinebench score. That's all on average. When you go with reverse rotation, 84 degrees on average, 4900 megahertz, and 26,115 Cinebench scores. So you do get less thermals and everything with different rotation, but let's be honest, you're not going to do that in this type of case, because let's be realistic. Your aim is to push the air outside of the chassis, not blow it inside. The only way you're blowing the air inside is if it's an intake, and that's it. So the concept, well, not the concept, this is a full product released, and I think that's an outstanding thing. You get lower specifications in terms of fan pressure, airflow when you're reversing the rotation, but regardless of that, it's much easier to just grab these and place them inside the case and just change the rotation on the press of a button, which is honestly remarkable. And I'm just gonna state PC Crazy Creative badge because you can reverse the rotation of the blades just by a press of a button, or completely stop if there's an idle thermal that you're not doing literally anything except listening to music, and just go completely silent with a cool build. That's it, guys. The links for the Hurricane Mag 120 addressable RGB PWM, you have them in black, you have them in white. 4-pack is in the description below, so you can check out more about those. And basically, what's there left to say except leave a comment what you think about these fans. Will this be New thing on the fan market, will this create some new interesting stuff, specifically in the airflow segment and similar things? And of course, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell, and I'll see you quite shortly in a new one. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.